So what's a good PR move these days? Oh, I know, attaching your name to a football club, something that is worshipped by hundreds of thousands, or in some case millions of people worldwide, despite not being able to tell the difference between Sergio Ramos and Paul McShane. Let's just take a look at every Premier League club and the famous people that you wish didn't support your team. Arsenal, Osama bin Laden. Okay, so the easy answer would be Piers Morgan, who seems to have made it his life mission to piss off as many people as humanly possible. An advocate for Arsene Wenger to lose his job for so many years, he probably still has this framed in his kitchen. But no, instead let's focus on the man responsible for the single-handed destruction and devastation of the United States. No, I'm not talking about Jurgen Klinsmann, although how he finished below Panama I'll never know. Osama bin Laden was apparently an Arsenal fan. When during the early 90s he was living in London and went to some games during the 93-94 season, he didn't stick around for the Wenger era, instead running off to some caves, showing a complete lack of regard for facial hygiene, and began plotting the downfall of America. Bournemouth Seth Rogen. Believe me, Bournemouth fans, it was hard finding a celebrity who even knows you exist. Seth Rogen probably still doesn't know, but hey, picture a name out of a hat in Soccer AM a few years ago. Despite probably being steamed off his tits, Rogen's acting skills are as one-dimensional as Jose Mourinho's tactics, and when he laughs it sounds like a beaver having sex. So sorry Bournemouth. Brighton Joe Weller. Okay, so he's a YouTube celebrity, but still. Yes, the man whose face was made to look like a mashed potato in front of the watching world is a Brighton fan, but also cried tears of joy when Chelsea won the Champions League. To me, that screams terrible fan. He also tried to pick up girls looking like Mario Balotelli. Just saying. Burnley Colonel GADDAFI. Okay, so this has been a fairly light-hearted fluff piece so far, apart from bin Laden. I mean, Bournemouth got the fella from knocked up, and Brighton got the fella who'd been knocked out. Sorry to dampen it again, but yeah, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, the Libyan leader/dictator, was a Burnley fan, according to owner Brendan Flood. According to Flood, Gaddafi wanted to invest in the club in the 90s because when he grew up, Burnley were a big club and he was a fan. I mean, if Gaddafi had seized control, jeez lads, if nothing else, you were spared the signature of El Juff. Cardiff City Snoop Dogg. Okay, I'm sorry, but no, you are not fooling me with that, Snoop. This man literally changes football allegiances more often than Emmanuel Adebayor, for Christ's sake. Oh, one week he's playing a DJ set in South Wales. Better get out that Cardiff kit from the club shop and pretend I know who the hell Craig Bellamy is. That man has smoked so much green in his life, I'd be amazed if he knew who his own kids were. Whenever this man turns up at your football club with a jersey and a cameraman, do not believe him for a second. Chelsea Tim Lovejoy. Alright, do I go for Robert Mugabe, the Zimbabwean president responsible for the deaths of millions of people, or do I choose Jeremy Clarkson for being Jeremy Clarkson? Chelsea have a bunch of insufferable famous fans. I mean, half the cast are made of Chelsea for one. Those fellows who probably murdered their firstborn for the latest Gucci gear. Alright, maybe a bit far. But I'm going for Tim Lovejoy, a man nobody remembers as television has mercifully banished him to the graveyard slots. Now his grimacing and terrible jokes is the problem for middle-aged women desperately fighting off the menopause. The main reason why Lovejoy's on this list? Well, the fact that he's a grown man who used to be a regular Watford matchday goer. Nothing wrong with that. But around 2003, then he started going to Chelsea for some reason. I wonder why. Oh, and also his autobiography has more pictures in it than a high school yearbook. Crystal Palace, Joe Brand. Ah, the original Rebel Wilson. Ha! Look at me, I ate too many burgers last night. Waits for applause. I also hate my husband. Waiting for more applause. I mean, it's been 20 years, I wonder if she's thought of a third joke yet. The comedian, and I use that in the loosest sense of the word, is a Crystal Palace fan. Everton Sylvester Stallone. Right, so I'm not going to assume Bieber was purporting to be an Everton fan just because he was wearing an Everton kit, but Sylvester Stallone seems to have adopted the Toffees for no good reason other than it seems to boost his career. The two times he's appeared at Goodison Park, in 2007 and 2015, when he'd preach about wishing he'd bought the damn club, it was coincidentally when he was promoting his movies Rocky Balboa and Creed. Suddenly, front page of the papers the following morning and ticket sales go through the roof. That's just the worst. Fulham, Lily Allen. Remember when Fulham got the Europa League final 8 years ago? Remember when die-hard Fulham fanatic Lily Allen was there after years of following them through thick, thin and Diamanti Camara? I mean, no, yeah, me neither. Here she is bawling her eyes out of full time, but I don't think anyone has ever seen her Craven Cottage in their life. Someone say bandwagon, is it? Huddersfield Town? I don't know. I couldn't find a terrible Huddersfield fan. I know Patrick Stewart supports them, but that man is class. He's been with them through thick and thin for years, so I'm sure he's seen everything. Huddersfield fans, if you know any terrible famous supporters, speak up now or forever hold your peace. Leicester City, Sam Bailey. I don't know much about Sam Bailey. All I know is that she seems like your typical X Factor winner. Warbles through 12 weeks of songs, gets told by Simon Cowell that he's just made her dreams come true, nauseates the UK airwaves by plugging her bang average single for 2 months straight, and then within 2 years bumps into the likes of Shane Warne more than Matt Carroll down the Butland circuit. Am I anywhere in the ballpark, Sam? She's a Leicester fan, and I'm being harsh, but the alternatives were Gary Lineker and Kasabian, so sorry Bailey. Liverpool, Coleen Rooney. Now Coleen Rooney definitely deserves her spot in here. A Liverpool fan? What sort of Liverpool fan marries Everton's boy wonder? A kid who'd go on to win Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues and become the record goal scorer at Manchester United. She's a traitor to her own family. Of course, that's being way too harsh, but some diehards will probably see it that way. And of course, spawning a future generation of kids who'll probably get chucked in the Everton Academy one day. Man City, Ivan Gazidis. Ivan Gazidis is a man widely respected in English footballing circles.
Fuck off, you bald-headed wanker.
The former chief executive has joined AC Milan after 10 years at the Gunners, but the South African actually moved to Manchester when he was 4 and supported Man City, back when they were terrible. Paul, dick off anyone? But this is where he ruined it. Gazidis actually turned down the role of chief executive at City in January 2008, and then one of his last acts at Arsenal was to try to rob them of Mikel Arteta. Having said that, he did sell City half the Arsenal first team, so maybe he wasn't that bad a fan after all. Maybe he's even a double agent. Man United, Conor McGregor. Oh, Conor, what did Floyd do to that man? Other than make him richer than several countries on the face of the planet, of course. Back in the day, McGregor confessed that he was a Man United fan, and then in Liverpool, this clip comes out.
I'm red, yeah. I'm red. Go on, Liverpool. Fuck everything, yeah. Go on, Liverpool.
Oh, Connor, make up your mind. Newcastle, Tony Blair. Okay, take your pick. Half the talentless twits off Geordie Shore anyway. Seriously, how do you get famous off downing 4 litres of vodka a week and passing around STDs like a game of hot potato? Although one of them is a Sunderland fan, and despite appearing on Geordie Shore, decided to write, Shearer is a wanker, he wears a wanker's hat, he plays for Scum United, he is a f***ing twat. Ah yes, using the word scum as shorthand for the city that made you famous, as well as denigrating that area's legend. Would expect nothing less from a woman who openly pissed herself about 7 times on that godforsaken TV show. Anyway, the answer is Tony Blair, the man who reserves his urine for the toilet. The former Prime Minister is a Newcastle fan, although by all accounts the man couldn't pick John Joe Shelby out of a lineup. There was a story going around a while ago that said that Blair used to watch Jackie Milburn on the terraces. Jackie Milburn left the club when Blair was 5. Southampton, Craig David. Look, again, I couldn't really find any terrible Southampton fans. Listening to Craig David's music is about as much fun as pouring bleach into my ear sockets, so I'm gonna go with him. Tottenham, Abu Dhabi. Well, if we're sticking with nauseating music, Cher Lloyd, Jessie J and Adele would jump to the top of the Spurs list. Lloyd for inflicting the musical nightmare that was Swagger Jagger on the world.
Swagger Jagger, you should get some of your own.
Christ above, Mick Jagger was probably rolling in his grave. He's not dead, is he? I mean, he probably wished he was dead after listening to that. Adele, yeah, your boyfriend broke up with you. Please stop reminding us. But the worst is Abu Dhabi, who sleeps in his Tottenham shirt. If you're such a big fan, why did you spend 9 years at Arsenal? Watford, Jennifer Aniston. Well, Elton John is a great fan. I mean, he bought Troy Deeney, so I'm going for Jennifer Aniston. An answer which has probably caused teenage boys across the globe to smash their laptop screens in defense of their queen. I'm just questioning the legitimacy of her support, considering she was only given a Watford shirt by Chris Stark back in the days when he interviewed celebrities by confusing them with his social awkwardness. Here she is holding it like a dirty dish rag. I mean, her publicist definitely threw that in the bin 20 minutes later. West Ham, Katy Perry. I don't know if Pixie Alonda's West Ham fan or not. Probably is. But Katy Perry, you are not fooling anyone. You just know 45-year-old Bill, the diehard hammer with a beer belly down to his knees, has this photo forever saved as his goddamn screensaver, with about 15 stains on his laptop, despite the fact that I guess she only wore this as the final straw in an attempt to save her dying marriage to Russell Brand, the actual West Ham fan. But yeah, sure Bill, knock yourself out. Wolves, Mark Hamill. So Luke Skywalker is a Wolves fan. I mean, he's not really. A Wolves fancast asked him to support them because they have a rich history, just like Star Wars. I'd say he loves a good Star Wars reference. That he hasn't received about 6,000 of them every day for the last 40 odd years.